Your man turns around, he has a few more drinks and we've been getting on like great, like all night. And he turns around and he goes, Sinead, I know you use they, them pronouns, but I don't really believe in that. And I turned around and I was like, that's all right, buddy. I was like, you don't need to believe in it. It's the same way I believe Sicilian people are.
This is Take Two.
Jesus Christ, YouTube is something else. Are we recording? Oh, okay.
Oh,
what's
nice.
the sound like? Is my burp on there?
No.
Damn it.
Next time. Yeah.
Try it again.
Get some 7-Up right now.
Yeah. Anyhow, the setup is slightly different, right?
Yeah, but it's incredible.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I did nothing.
No, but I mean, like, this is growth and progress. And
Fancy. Look at my face.
I
there.
know, and it's a beautiful shot of you
Do you,
as well.
do you notice the difference in my name going from Debbie to Deb?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know the reason why?
No.
The B fits with my jawline.
I was waiting for you to like maybe say something like, we can get into this later, but that's not the answer I was expecting you to say.
Oh yeah. No.
And I love it.
It fits my jawline really nicely.
It does.
So I was like, you know what? It's also shorter. It's easier.
Snappy.
Deb, snappy.
Snappy.
Reason number 2. Reason number 3, right? I have this prediction that in 5 years, 3 to 5 years, Debbies are going to be the next Karens. Because in America, all of the fucking 40 to 50-year-olds are called Debbie.
That's fucking fair, man. Jesus. That's a bold prediction, but I absolutely see your logic in it.
Yeah. I don't identify with the Debbies, although my name is still Debbie. Like,
Deb.
publicly. It's so weird, though, seeing people, like, talk to me, like, address me as Deb.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
I was talking to someone today and I was like, oh, I'm doing like part 2 of, the catch-up episode, let's say. And I was like, oh yeah, we met, we really vibed, all that kind of stuff. Oh, what's her name? Deb Shaw. And they were like, fuck, that's a great name.
It's
it's a fucking great name.
I know. It's like
proper
Joe
host
Rogan.
shit. Like, yeah. No, come on. No, it's better than Joe Rogan.
Is it?
Both the podcast and the name.
3 letters. I think 3 letters is just fucking easy. It's like a bit of
monosyllabic.
A
Yeah. No. And that's it. It's like Deb Shaw. Yes.
Boom.
Dude.
Yeah. Would you know what my mom fucking called me at birth? Deborah Ann Shaw.
Deborah.
Like I was fucking born with a fucking cup of tea in my hands, ready to bow down to the queen. And then I turned out like this.
And you know what? You are a queen in your own right. Yeah.
Like, not the royal kind.
No, the queen of the podcast.
Potty mouth.
The 2023 version of a queen.
Yeah. Liz is out. Deb is in.
The queen is dead. Long live the queen.
Yeah. Anyhow, so besides that, we slightly bonded. So I needed advice from you a while ago. I don't know if you remember this. And it was considering that I'm really enjoying my life in Dublin, which I also said fits right in with my name, Deblin.
Deblin. Fucking hell.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
You're on it
so
tonight,
hard.
aren't you? You're on it tonight.
I'm on it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
It's been a long fucking week. Let's go. Let's take the piss out of me.
Yes.
So with Dublin, and I was like, am I a Shamrocks or am I a Bohemians fan? And I went to you and I forgot that you're the biggest Bohemians fan. So you tried to sway me, which makes sense. And you gave me very good reasons.
I'm pretty sure I text back straight away, which you know me, my friends, I never do that.
I just found fucking 5 messages, voice notes on reasons why I should be a Bo fan. A
Deborah. I was right. Listen, first of all, you're welcome. Second of all, I've saved you from a potential life of joy because Bows have not been doing great the last few seasons. No, but you know what? And like Shamrock Rovers are walking the league the last couple of years, but you know what? There's something beautiful in the struggle, isn't there? There's something beautiful in the struggle.
What's a match like between Shamrocks and Bows?
It's so special.
You need to let me know when it's happening so that I can book in advance.
Yeah, so they'll play each other at least like I think it's at least 4 times in the season.
Oh, that's really good.
And like home away. And there is nothing like a Dublin derby. It's spectacular. It's intense. It's loud, and it's just like I I often say, I think football matches were invented so cis-het men could like express emotion. You know what I mean?
That's why they don't support the women's football teams.
Because they have to watch themselves around the other women. Like they have to like be careful what
they
they
don't
say.
have something for themselves anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a few different theories you could follow there, but Bows and Rovers, it's like going into, I love football so much. I love the sport so much, but like when I am at a match generally, but particularly a big match like that, for me, there's nothing else going on in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and only what is happening in front of me that's the only thing that matters. And that's the kind of madness, like it's like a madness, you know what I mean? And like, I have a very good friend of mine who is a Rovers fan, and we get on in every other way, but when it comes to that, but we are pretty respectful of each other now, I suppose. But like, you just are filled with this, like, it's such a tribal mentality, you know, like red and black versus like the green and white, you know what I mean? And it's just fireworks and chaos and smoke, and the most alive you're ever going to feel. It's the most Dublin thing you'll ever experience. And it's probably my favourite thing to do in life is go to a Bows and Rovers match, to be honest.
I need to go to one. I still haven't gone to a rugby match yet, but like nothing beats live sports. In my opinion, right. There's just something about it, even if you don't know what the fuck is going on. If there's like a well-organized event where there's people going and there's drinks or food and everything's well-organized and everyone's hyped up, you're like, shit, man, I just want someone to win for the crack. Like, you just turn over to the stranger and you're like, who are you siding with? This 100%. Person? All right, like
100%. But that's like major tournaments and stuff. I think really do that in the likes of rugby, soccer, you know, even the All Ireland, you know, like it brings together communities of people. Say, I don't want to say the World Cup, but I have to, because it's like obviously the most recent World Cup and the human rights debate and Qatar and all that was like, it really took the shine off the beauty of the World Cup and the beauty of sport bringing people together. So
which
probably a bad example,
but such a good World Cup.
Oh, it was like
gorgeous.
Yeah. And but like at the same time, like that's so. I think you can't ignore that.
Like. You can't ignore that. But I think it's like, now this is obviously coming from a queer person, right?
Yeah.
I think it sheds a light more on FIFA than it does on the country.
I completely agree with you.
And it's really just embarrassing, and it's just tough to see.
Yeah. And
it's just like me going there or an American journalist going there is going to do sweet fuck all.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I disagreed with the people that went there, but you're not a fucking prophet. You're not going to change a country that is not even your own.
No.
The change, if there's going to be a change.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know that some people say culture, not culture, whatever. At the end of the day, yeah, queer people are dying, women are dying. Fucking shit. They think it's okay though.
Yeah.
There's a structural change that needs to happen within the country itself.
Yeah. I agree.
The World Cup isn't going to do that.
No, I know. And I think like, I agree with you. And I was actually in work and I said to one of the girls I work with, you know, at the end of the day, it's their culture, it's their country. And anything we do is like, it's not going to change much, exactly as you said. And she was like, that's not enough of a reason to not be like upset and shout about it. And I was like, yeah, no, you're dead right. And I completely agree with that. I think, you know, the more you look into it and hear people's stories, you know, or like, you know, particularly queer people, obviously it resonates with us a little bit more. So it's heartbreaking, you know, but it speaks a lot to your original point. It speaks a lot to the corruption within FIFA and at that level. And it is heartbreaking because like, that's it. The magic, like sport is magic. Like it brings people together in ways that like the nothing else can.
Shocking thing with Katie Taylor as well, not fucking performing at Croke Park. Bullshit.
I will say this though.
Tell me.
Imagine being the top row of Croke Park, or the top section in Croke Park, trying to watch a boxing match. Like it'd be tough enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even space wise or whatever. But like. Exactly, 100%. But yeah, I completely agree. I think the 3 Arena will sell out pretty quick, and I hope they move it then, but it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke.
What I don't even understand is why be so set on May 20th? Because so many people were saying, like, at least do the Aviva, which has the Heineken Cup final. Move it a week.
Yeah.
Again, obviously, there's so much that's going into it. I feel like the public kind of uproared in disappointment, and they're coming up with a shit ton of solutions.
Yeah.
There's people saying that there are places in Cork. There's it makes sense, right? But I think the real pity is why are the GAA and the Irish government so vocal now in response to Eddie Hearn? I'm not saying I'm sure that Matchroom Boxing could have done more. Not an angel.
No, but like at the same time, they have to negotiate the business deal that makes sense for them.
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
That's a huge risk as well. It's like,
but like it's fucking classic Europe, in my opinion.
I know.
It's classic Europe. It's not an Irish thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's just, I feel like it's the same back home. It's the moment that then someone speaks up, it's like, no, we actually care. It's fucking too late, assholes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And you're right, it is. It's not just an Irish thing for sure. It's it's not. It's the consequences of bureaucracy and human stupidity, I suppose. But yeah, I think it'll change. Personally, I do think it'll change.
I have a slight glimmer of hope that something will happen. Just change the date, like.
We'll see.
It's Katie fucking Taylor, and as we said, sports is bigger. Like, I'm not saying that money shouldn't be involved. Money, like with the FIFA thing, money is probably the first thing that they look at more than the love of the sport.
Of course,
which is shit because the athletes care about the love of the sport, and some of them do for money. Sure,
of course they do.
But yeah. Anyways, but with the FIFA thing, it's kind of like, where was I going with that? With love of sport? Yeah, I do agree that your friend is right or was right that like accepting the culture wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But I do think that then it's about the people looking inwards in their own country. Were their businesses boycotting the World Cup?
Yeah.
Not streaming it? Were you watching it at your own home? You probably were. Not you, but these people were. The West was still looking. I am in solidarity with the queer people. Blah, blah, blah. You're watching it though.
But again, it's like, what can the average person do when you're talking about
it's the businesses as well.
And businesses and years and years and years of history as well. So it's a tough one. I think it really definitely put a dampener on it. But like as well, and just talking about money in sport, and wait, you see where I bring this conversation back to. But talking about money in sport and stuff like that, absolutely, I feel like, again, just coming from like a football point of view, when you look at the Premier League and that kind of thing, I really feel money has tainted that. In a lot of ways, and I don't know, I just enjoy it way less than I used to when I was like a teenager or whatever. But I love the League of Ireland so much, like, and I mean, I wish like the Irish public are getting behind it more nowadays, but like continue to do that, because I think we have something really, really special here, where it's still kind of like, it's not as far ahead as it is, say, in the UK and stuff like that, but like the stadiums are smaller or whatever, but we've got some like real talent within that league and real passion as well. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever sat beside 250 Finn Harp supporters at a game who have travelled 4 hours from Ballybuffet, and it's like, what month was it? I think it was like an August night, and your man, no, was it even? Maybe it was earlier in the summer, and there was some guy for like the entirety of the match with his shirt off over like swinging it over his head, and some guys like banging a drum the whole time, and I'm like, it's chaos, and I love it. Like, you know?
Amazing. It's amazing. I remember even just seeing my brother's matches when he was younger. So, like, he still plays, but it's just like with the band,
you love that.
Like, oh my god, I love that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And then whenever the ref fucks up, fuck you.
Yeah. That's the most important part. You know what I mean?
Poor referees.
My friend Jess Collins, who's a comedian as well, her partner is he's managed a few different teams in the East Meath League kind of in the last few years, but he at one of his matches, Jess shouted at the referee, like he had put on at a time, and there was a moment of quiet, and Jess, being the comedian she is, shouts up, Jesus, come on, ref, I've a bleeding roast in the dinner. And everyone, or a bleeding roast in the oven. Sorry, I fucked that up. Come on, ref, I've a roast in the oven. And everyone fell around the place laughing. And I was like, that's Sunday League. Like, that's football. Do you know what I mean?
God, I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be a ref though.
You couldldn't pay me enough.
No, never.
To ref anything, actually. You know?
And also the decisiveness and the overthinking concept. I'd be, I don't know.
I'd freeze.
What do you think? Is it a penalty? How do you feel about that?
About decisions and
how do you feel about penalties?
Yeah.
Like you just bring the fucking players forward and just go like, yeah, no, all right, cool. I would just be like, I didn't see anything.
No, I didn't see anything.
Advantage.
It's like, is that €50 in the pocket of my jacket? Put that €50 in.
So easily bribed, man. I'd be so corrupt. I'm such a cheater. I'm such a sore loser as well. Like
I believe that.
Yeah. What gave it away?
I would say, like, because you're not really an intense person. So, I mean, just call the hunch.
Easy, sleazy. So many people say I'm intense. And so
you're intense in the right way, though.
Am I?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, scare people.
No, you definitely don't. No. It's pure Mediterranean passion.
It's Mediterranean, yeah. For context, Sinead was making fun of my hand movements and how I talk like this when I am on the podcast.
And the power move.
Yeah. There's one photo of me and Jackson Lennon, and it was behind the scenes, and I full on just... I was like,
I do. You know what? I watch the videos of your podcast more now than originally when I started listening to it, and I do it mainly for to see if I could spot your facial reactions to things, or that
one,
that
one.
Very
always
serious.
Flicking my hair as well.
Yes.
Get the jawline. It's always for the jawline. That's it. Everyone needs a double jawline. In fairness, though. If you're listening to this, watch it.
Yeah. If you're listening to it, watch it.
Because I'm paying for the studio. And also for analytics as well. People kind of forget that too.
100%.
Because YouTube analytics are more public than Spotify.
Oh.
I know.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Also, I'm wearing a grey t-shirt.
Yeah, Rugrats.
Yeah.
That's what I call myself because of my baby curl. Because of that. I'm like one of the twins.
Phil and Lil.
Yeah. Oh, I'm onto something. Anyways, I have a joke to run by you, right?
Right, go.
So, but it comes from a sad situation. And that's where I was going with this with Bose, right? Okay. So they have the refugees welcome thing.
Yes.
What's the current thing right now besides Oatly and Dublin bus hiring in Dublin?
The refugees
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's appalling. Yeah. I can't believe we're here. I can't believe it's happening.
In fairness, though, it's quite although it's a really tough situation, I do see there's so many positives where people are going with the refugees are welcome campaigns.
Yeah.
And are protesting outside the protests. But anyways, brace yourself on this one. In my opinion, right, these people this is coming from a foreigner.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get
caveat this.
Please don't follow me with a baseball bat.
Again.
The fact that these people are protesting against government, they're saying against government decisions, right? Okay. And against the government, but they're protesting outside refugee.
It's thinly veiled racism, let's call it what it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like pushing out a fart, shitting yourself, and blowing your nose to fix the problem.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
I really think that's the case.
I think you should. I think absolutely. And I think you should probably start working on your first 5 minute stand. Personally. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't it the case though?
It is. No, you're totally right.
You can't go I am against the government bringing all of this. Then go outside government.
Listen, right? Here's my opinion. These people are, and I'm going to try and stay calm while we're talking about it. These people will protest anything that doesn't fit in with their very narrow, privileged worldview. And it's thinly veiled xenophobia. It's also thinly veiled homophobia, transphobia, all the just discriminatory, I suppose, mindset. And anything that doesn't fit in with their narrow worldview, in my opinion, they disguise it as, or they try and position it as, the government, we're angry at the government and that kind of thing. And as if that kind of gives their their protest some kind of legitimacy, and it doesn't at all. You know what I mean? And like anyone with two brain cells to rub together can see what they're trying to do. And I hope personally that the country I am from and the city I am from, that we do something about this, like that we show as a society that this isn't the kind of bullshit we're standing for, like that kind of xenophobia and everything else like that comes with that hate. And I firmly believe that we as Irish people are better than that. And I think maybe, if I'm trying to be empathetic about it, I think the people that are involved in these protests, there's some kind of fear there, and the fear creates hate. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know why they're there. I know I don't enjoy them. I don't like them. You know what I mean? But if you strip it all back, like, what, you know, people say, oh, it's a lack of education, or it's not. It's a fear of something. It's a fear of, I don't know. I can't speak for them, you know, obviously, but I hope we as Irish people and as an Irish society, an inclusive society, show those people and the world that like that bullshit is not tolerated, because we as Irish people have done it for hundreds and thousands of years, well, not thousands, like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, we emigrated, we were welcomed in countries that weren't our own, and we built legacies there and that kind of thing, and there's like proud heritage, you know. So I think this imported fucking fear mongering and this imported hate is bullshit, and they try and make themselves out to be patriots, where if they were really patriots and really in touch with like the history of our country and stuff, there's not a chance they'd be out there in the streets protesting.
Yeah. It's a tough one, because like sometimes I always try to like read into what their fear is and what their complaints are. Now, when it comes to Irish people immigrating, or the likes of Maltese people immigrating, whatever, most of the time, we went to the likes of Boston, we went to the likes of Canada, Australia, where the culture was somewhat similar. Now, with migrants that come from completely different cultures, there's a very different change that they have. There's a pure culture shock. I think, of course, like, it's not even about their fears. And also we need to remember that we're in a massive housing crisis and homelessness is at an all-time high. So I do agree that it is very interesting that the government has acted quickly when they wanted to in certain ways and not in others. And that's landlordism. Yeah. At the end of the day. And that needs to be fucking fixed. It needs to be tackled.
100%. But again, I think what you said there is it's the government that we need to rage at. Genuinely. Exactly. The people we don't need to rage at and don't need to intimidate are people that are coming into these 100%. Housing situations or whatever, you know.
And you know what the reason, like a key thing that people kind of forget, and I don't know if it's the case in other European countries, but I do feel that it is quite a big thing, which is the further you push these people away, the more isolated they're going to be, the more they're going to linger on with their own thing, and the negative cycles and the trauma that they went through will then happen in the likes of shit that you do not want to fucking happen.
100%.
And that's the thing that people fucking forget. I'm not saying home them yourself or house them yourself. Being fucking sound to them though, giving them a ball in their hands, playing with them is gonna
change everything.
Because then it's just creating a new path, a new way.
Yeah.
Giving them jobs so that they pay themselves, so that there's less stealing, so that there's less homelessness.
Of course.
Same with, like, I've had this conversation with Thomas McCann, who's a PhD, he's a traveller, and he has a PhD, like he runs his own counselling services and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. But it is the similar thing. It's like the more you isolate them, the harder it is for travelers to get jobs, to even sit down for interviews, to have funerals, to have weddings, to have all of that stuff. The more, not even delinquents, that's the wrong word, but the more crime that is bound to happen because these people don't have fucking money.
Well, that's it. Absolutely. And like, you know, things like that, like stealing and stuff tend to come from like desperate situations, of course. I think, you know, time and again, it has been proven that isolation is a key factor in terms of, across a range of different, not just addictions, but disorders and things like that. And I think that's like a pretty, you know, accepted reason for a lot of those kind of what ultimately become antisocial behaviors or phrased as such. I hate that phrase, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that you're exactly right. Like, all that is happening by protesting and blocking and discriminating and all that kind of thing is you're actually just making the situation worse, and I can't understand, like, there's days where I have to avoid like the likes of the Journal or Twitter or stuff like that because like it infuriates me.
It's tough
that people are doing that, you know what I mean? Like, and it infuriates me that like Irish people, Dublin people are doing that. And I was down in Mayo Pride in June and I was part of, I'm friends with, I was part of a cabaret show down there, the big gay cabaret, and I'm friends with a few drag queens and that kind of thing, and we were in the parade on the Saturday, and then we got down to, it was in Westport, and we got down to where the parade ends, and there was like a stage, and like Panty was doing a speech, and then Candy Warhol and her House Maquia queens were doing performances, and it was lovely. It was a gorgeous day in the middle of June, blah blah blah. And then Panty comes back on the mic and she says, now drag story time is happening after this, and it's down in Tertulia bookshop, which is down on Westport Quay. And she was like, and there's about 20 fascist protesters out there. She didn't phrase it like that, but you get where I'm going with that. But yeah, so she's like, and they're out there and they're protesting, saying protect kids and all that. Let's show them that we're not going to be intimidated by them. And about, I'd say, like 100 people took off from the thing, and like walked back up. There was just like a few yards up from where we were, and there was these like people there with like with signs saying things like protect our kids, and trying to say that basically the drag queens that were involved with drag story time were had untoward intentions, let's say, and it was really intense. It got really, really intense, and we kind of like, I'm not going to say clash, but like people were face to face, nose to nose, screaming at each other. And I saw some like, there was like some like younger people there as well, like some queer young people, and it all got very emotional. And like one of the people, for say from the fascists, as Panty said, the fascist side was the auntie of one of the queer young people that was there, and that person got like super upset, and it was a whole thing, and we were in the bookshop then at one point, and the police are there, and they're trying to like push the like protesters away, and like there's protesters screaming, and kids like at the parents of kids, and I'm like, what are you saying, like protect kids, and then screaming at them like that for, you know what I mean, like, and they were the ones who were intimidating them, and it was like in that moment where I was standing in the bookshop, and there's it's packed out, and the drag queen is called Annie Queries, and she's like reading the story, and the kids are so enamored by her, and like, so the little boys are trying to like fight like to get her attention and like reading the book with her, and the little girls are just looking at her like she's like Elsa from Frozen nearly, you know what I mean, like just like completely enamored. And it was this weird piece, and outside was this like intense scene with like adults and screaming at like queer youth, and like it was all so insane. And it kicked off at one point and threatened to get physical, and the police like got people away, and I was like, this is the most, it's going to be framed in my mind as always one of those moments where I was like, look how gorgeous and lovely and gentle and full of love and fun this scene is, while out there and all that hate is running wild out there, and it's so needless. Like, it's so needless, because I don't know, like, live your life, don't do harm to anyone, of course, and you've every right to stand up for what you believe in, but that is fueled by nothing but hate and fear of the unknown. And it broke my heart that it happened at the most vulnerable event at such a small rural pride. It broke my heart, and it made me so angry,
It's horrible. And you know what the funny thing is that the likes of these people would have definitely bought tickets to take their kids to watch a pantomime.
Yeah.
They would have watched Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
And
Shirley Temple Bar,
like, there's so many things. And like, I've been trying to look into, again, they just think that drag queens are these like
adult
hyper
performance.
sexualize people and all that. When in reality, these are adults that know that they're going to talk to kids. And it's similar, like just telling a story is literally the same as performing at a pantomime,
Absolutely.
a Christmas performance. We're not talking about anything that happens at the George.
Yeah.
We're talking about like a play that families go to watch
course.
with the lead being a drag queen.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as that. And I think people just forget that they just don't need to take their kids there. That's it.
100%.
It's the same as something that I don't understand, which is like leaving hate comments as well. It's like a new insult is hard watch as usual. That, like, you typing that out meant you gave the creator watch time. Like, you can literally like scroll on.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, how do I make it about me?
I find that as well. Like, I find it so funny when people leave comments like, you know, I got one. I was one in a recent video. It was like, well, that wasn't funny at all, and I replied with, well, thank God we had you here to tell us. You know what I mean? Because, but like, it's and people are very, look, I mean, I'm sure you've spoken about this before, I'm pretty sure, but like, people get awful brave behind a keyboard, you know what I mean?
They do.
Yeah.
And even behind a protest, because then there's something in numbers. I don't know if I brought it on a podcast that I was a guest on, or it was mine.
Yeah.
But I said that if this were a few hundred years ago, like even just simply a podcast or storytelling and all that,
Yeah.
someone, if it's a room of 100 people and there's one hate comment, the chances of them actually standing up and saying what they think is very unlikely.
Yeah.
Because of like the fact that you have to actually overcome being unique in that way.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, like with social media, especially the likes of TikTok, where you could be anonymous, it's easier.
Yeah.
And it's groupthink, I think, as well.
Completely. And well, definitely a group thing, 100%. But like, I always think of the stark difference between, you know, comedian puts up TikTok and there are comments saying, you know, hard watch as usual, or, you know, not funny. Come to a gig and say it to my face. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't get hecklers at stand-up gigs like that say that same things at the same rate, you know what I mean? So like,
they won't
say
the same thing. They'll try to be like unique and funny.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
That's basically,
or like, but like if someone doesn't like your comedy, it's very rare. Like they will just sit there and laugh, and that, as is their damn right to. You know what I mean? And you very, very rarely get someone. That's why when you do get a heckler that's brave enough to stand up and be like, "You're shit." Not that it's ever happened to me, thankfully, but like, you know, that person is a nut job and ready to go. But anyway,
I've ended up on the heckle side of TikTok. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
But it's always like people trying to either go like, no, don't say that, you know, that's too far, for instance, like they try to correct the comedian, or they try to be sarcastic towards them, like the comedian like picked the wrong person, unfortunately, from the crowd. And that's it. Anyways, carry on. What were you saying?
But you rarely get it at the same frequency, you know, that like people won't heckle you at the same frequency. They'll leave a shit comment on TikTok, you know. No. So yeah, it
they
gets
don't
very
have
rare.
the balls for that.
No, and you know what? I think the first time I ever got like a negative reaction to something I put up online, and I mean like I got a couple of comments that were like, "Oh, fuck you," you know, whatever. And it really kind of rattled me. And this would have been a few years ago. And then shortly after that, then you kind of just realize like these people really don't matter. Really don't matter. Like I don't mind if you don't like me or my stuff, because other people are still buying tickets to my shows, and
that's it.
You know what I mean? And still like watching my videos or doing whatever. Not that I put that many up. I really do need to, you know, be better at that, I suppose. But I don't know how you do it with the frequency you do. I
actually slacked off this week, and like today and yesterday, then I like posted like 3 yesterday, 2 today. Like my heart kind of like sank a little bit when I forgot about TikTok. It's so weird.
The one you put up where you were like the morning routine, it's like, okay, I've had a cry, I've had a coffee. Then
my dust bitches.
Eat my dust bitches.
Did you see Maisie and Neon?
Yeah, I know. And I knew right away that you were like, come here. And then
actually weren't. It was actually 7 a.m. And basically we have this really shit routine where I give them treats. So you saw the cupboard next to the oven. Of course. They were waiting for that. But anyways, Maisie and Neon, my dog and my cat, ended up like the real life Timon and Pumbaa. And seeing them in, like, I've watched that video over and over again just to see them in sync, like just go around, you know, like Neon
It's
with
pretty
his,
amazing. Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
cool. They're one now. They're literally one. It's so fucking weird.
That's adorable.
Yeah, Neon's eating her food, like the cat is eating the dog food. The dog is a complete nightmare. She
Is she?
cries. She cries.
Of course she cries. She's
Like
a dog.
but she screamed like,
Oh, really?
So like she sees Neon,
dramatic like you,
like
so.
yeah. Everyone goes, whenever I bitch about Maisie, everyone goes, yeah, it's your dog there.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me, do I need to like journal right now? But
Oh,
anyways, Neon would be eating her food and she comes over crying.
Yeah.
And it's like, lads, what the fuck is happening? But anyways, so that's Maisie and Neon and stuff. Speaking about comedy, so you, like, since we last recorded,
Yeah.
you've got your Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bigfoot a little bit. I know the story, but I don't know if you're okay with sharing it, but I'd love for you to share the first time that you, like, did the stand-up, like, did the full thing in the UK.
Yeah. Of course, I'll tell you. Yeah. It was in this is so typical me, man. Like, like
that's why I want you to share
anything easy for myself.
No, you didn't.
Not at all. Yeah. So I suppose at some point early last year, I had already decided that I was gonna like aim to write my hour. I didn't know how long it was gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I really wanted it to be about, but like I knew I was going to do something. So I had been like hashing out ideas. Obviously, at some point early last year, I was like, right, okay. So I was sitting down, like emailing different UK comedy clubs. And I guess at that point, I must have, in my frenzy of admin, started like checking out UK fringe festivals that weren't just the typical Edinburgh Fringe, Brighton, Glasgow, blah, 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 you know, whatever. So I sussed that out. Anyway, fast forward a couple of months and one day I get an email from Faversham Fringe and they were like, hey, just a reminder, we're going to be programming this weekend. So like, you said this was your availability. Is that still the case? And I had to like change a little bit, whatever. So I got one date at Faversham Fringe. Now, where is Faversham, Sinead? I hear you say. Well, Deb. Faversham is in Kent in the UK, right? So it's like kind of like near the coast on the, like if you look at a map of England and where London is and just kind of go right, if you know what I mean, right? So towards the coast. It's near Sandwich, which is a town that I really hoped I would get a chance to visit and I didn't. But yeah, so anyway, they were like, yeah, grand, offered me like whatever date, one show, small venue. I was like, yeah, perfect. This is it. Like this is the perfect place to do it, right? Because it's low stakes. So then my two best mates, James and Christine, both they got tickets for it. So James and his girlfriend came over and Chris came with me and we stayed in this hotel and whatever, and it's this like tiny rural English town and I was like, what? So we went over like the day before the show and I like had flyers and I was like handing them out trying it because like I think I only had like the 3 tickets sold that it was like Chris, James and Lorna, and I was like, well, they've seen obviously some material I had been like trialing and testing and stuff.
And
so
how
they
long
had seen.
Have you been doing this again?
Writing? Oh, comedy. So comedy, I'm doing it 4 years this month.
And you were still giving out flyers. That's something that I want
to
point
course.
out.
Yeah, of
carry
course.
On.
Yeah,
carry on.
Flyering, man. And yeah, so I worked my tail off for that day and the day after and stuff like that. We were just having fun as well, like me and Chris. It was like, you know, buying loads of snacks, watching, you know, whatever show on TV that evening, and then the next day I was like in stress mode, and I had put so much into writing it in the like months beforehand, and like I went into like a pretty frantic period, say the month before the show was due to debut in Faversham, and it was like stress. You can imagine, right?
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, like doing this, I'm sure like when it comes to doing something like that, you've so much to organise, like flights, accommodation, how am I getting there? What time am I coming home? How do I, okay, flyers, design them, get them printed over there. Okay, get them out. Okay, you know, so like there's, and that's before you even talk about the show. So I had put months of like really fucking hard work into the show, and I went through a lot of personal stuff when I was doing that as well, as like outside of myself, but then within myself too, because like I was writing about something that was so deeply personal and that kind of thing. So it was all going on, and then by the time I got to Faversham, it was like peak stress, and I was like, oh man, like, okay, let's just get it done. You know, if it's just the three of them in the room and me, like, we'll do it. And then actually there ended up being like, I'm going to say like maybe 12 people, 13 people there, like, you know, like other people that I didn't know. And I was like, sweet, okay, cool. And yeah, and it was great. And I got some great feedback. Like they made the audience fill out like little forms, like comments and stuff like that. So I've got some really nice feedback off it as well. But like, let me tell you, man, doing an hour is physically pretty fucking tough. Like it's
long.
Yeah, it's long. And I had my notebook like open beside me because it was a work in progress show, right? So I have a notebook open beside me on the stage, and that was fine. But like I didn't really need to look at it. A lot of it I knew anyway. And then by the time it got to the newer parts, like I obviously had prompts like written on the notebook, so I'd know like at this point I go here or whatever. And I was making decisions as I went as well. I was like, I have a bit that I could put here, but I think I'm actually gonna hold off on that. Then I get to the next bit, you know. So like I'm making a million decisions a second. It's not like going and learning a live script. And I got off stage and it was a hugely emotional like the, you know, the part where the typical comedy hour show, there's like a serious part for a few minutes, you know, where you kind of monologue or whatever, and then afterwards, and like James is like climbing from the back row like over the chairs or whatever, and he just like gives me this big hug and he's like, I love you so much. And I was like, I love you too. And I was like adrenaline rush, like the first time I'd ever done comedy all over again, you know. And like that gig buzz is potent, man. If you could bottle that, like you just you never need anything again kind of thing. But anyway, so I was sweating and rattling and I just needed like everyone to leave me alone for a second. So I was like, right, I'm just gonna go outside, and I went down to the front of the venue and I was standing there, and James came down and he was like, you know, he's like, oh, this, that, and I was like, just give me a sec. I was like, I couldn't even understand the words he was saying. I was like, you just need to give me a sec. And he was like, yeah, chill out, back in a minute. And he went off, you know, and I was like, okay, we did it. Yeah, we did it. Like, shit, man, we did it. Like, and then Chris and Lorna came out and they were amazing, and everyone was so nice, genuinely so nice. Like the feedback that I got from those comments and from the audience and stuff was great. So from like an artistic creative point of view, I was happy I got to where I was, and there's a lot more work to do and a lot of admin work to do that comes with it and all that. But like just on a personal, like I allowed myself that moment for the first time in years. I allowed myself that moment to be like, you did it. Okay, now it's alive. Now it's a thing, you know. So I was, I think allowing yourself to have that moment of pride is the wrong word, but like, you know, that moment in the sun where you're like, I'm actually really proud of myself for doing that. I think is so important because we just don't do it enough, you know. No,
never. And what I find really interesting, that's why I kind of wanted to let you talk about it, but what I think is really cool is that as we go along in this journey of just pinpointing what we're passionate about and then pursuing it, there's always going to be those first little steps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like probably Bigfoot and like what your hour is now is different to what it was then.
I didn't have an hour, like, I mean, to put an hour together. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
but like from like the script that you have now versus the one that you performed in Kent too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you've tweaked it, but like it's always like the first time that is something really special.
Yeah.
And I think what was really cool about that story as well is the fact that even 4 years in, you were still giving flyers out. It was still a 12-person event. I think so many people visualize where they want to end up at.
Yeah.
And the timeline is so much shorter than what it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'm sure it does, like for you as well. 4 years. Like that's crazy.
And that's, you know, I'm still very new. I'm still very green, you know, and like, you know, there's people out there like performers and comedians out there who are at it like 10, 20 years, you know what I mean? Like they were doing this when I was still in primary school, and that is so incredible to me. And I'm like, I was talking to another comedian the other night, and I said she said she'd done a gig in Edinburgh and it had gone super well, and we were talking about, you know, she was like, how much she wants this, and she was like, it scares me how much I want this. And I was like, yeah, I know what you mean, like, because when you make the decision, when you're like, I'm going all in on this, like, what if it doesn't come off is always in the back of your head, you know what I mean? So like, fight the fear, do it anyway. But I said to her, like, you know, look around, right? And like, she's a pretty new comic, and like, as in like within her first year still. And I was like, you look around at the people you're doing gigs with now. This time next year, there's going to be a lot less of them. And this time, and then this time 2 years from now, there's going to be a lot less of them. And this time 10 years from now, there mightn't be any of the guys that you're doing gigs with, right? You know, still kicking around. All you need to do is to make sure that you're still there, that you're still doing it. And like, I didn't start comedy with the intention of writing an hour show or the intention of doing anything with it other than in the room of a bar above a pub in Cork, you know. I don't think I really had it in my head that this would maybe go somewhere or could be a thing that could go somewhere. And then the comedian I was talking to, she said, you know, it's like, I can't see the improvements, but it's like when you're a child and you're getting taller every day and you don't notice it, you're just doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you're tall. You know, like
exactly.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. You know, it's all happened so fast. Like for me, like for the last 4 years has just been like that. Like it's just gone so quick, and I almost don't know where it went. But like I know how much hard work has gone into the last 4 years, and I know how much more hard work it's going to take to keep going. But I'm going to do it. Like I'm all in. Yeah,
that's what scares me a little bit about. Like I completely am in the same boat as you when it comes to doubt, for instance. Like we never know. We never know. And is it, I don't know if it's like this cockiness to it. I don't know if it's ego, but like I feel like I am the right fit for this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have told you the same, like you are the right fit for this. But there's never a guarantee. Like we've all known of those people that were so close but never made it, right? And it's like, it really is down to luck as well. Yeah. But I think what has really helped me is knowing that besides the hard work, it's the fact that you just have to keep showing up.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to keep showing up, because then eventually people aren't going to cop on. No. People aren't going to support you from the start. And that was what was really challenging to me at the start of it. I was like, but I'm good. Like, I know I'm talented. Like, I'm here. Like, why aren't you like, why aren't you sucking my dick? Like, you know, but it's true.
Especially if you've been a high achiever in your life, you know what I mean?
God,
like,
yes,
100%.
100%.
You kind of expect to be good at things straight away. Like I was good in school. I started playing guitar when I was 10, and I had to work at that, but I eventually got good at it. And like, they used to frustrate me. Like within 2 months of me playing guitar, I was like, why am I not Jimi Hendrix? You know what I mean? Like, and that kind of thing. So it really, you know, it was always like, I want, I get, I want, I get, I go,
because
I do.
It depended on you.
Yes.
And this time round, you're bringing other people into it.
Yeah.
Which is like a really cool thing, but a really scary thing, because you depend on others to a certain extent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyways, where I was going with this, with like the time concept, then it is, if you just make it easier in your head of, I just need to make sure that I keep showing up next year. Yeah. That I'm still around next year, that I'm still around in 5 years' time. Yeah. It's like, make it work in such a way where whatever happens, I've said this before, but like whatever happens here, I know that I've got my own equipment at home. I know that I've got a laptop and the webcam. Yeah. If that means that I have to go online for a bit just to keep having these conversations, then that's what's going to be done. Yeah. And it's the same for you. And I think a lot of people just forget about that. It's talent goes into it, but it really is just about fucking showing up and still sticking around and never, like, you just have to keep persisting.
100%.
As cheesy as it is.
No, it is, and it is persistence all over. And it's there was, I don't know, was it an Adidas or Nike marketing campaign I saw before, and it said essentially, hard work happens when nobody's watching, and that's it. Like, and it's fine, like, getting on a podcast and saying, oh, I hustle, man, I hustle, you know, but like, the reality is, like, the hard work is done when it's 1 a.m. and nobody else is up and you're still writing, or it's you know, or you're still editing a video, or you're still, whatever it might be, whatever your form of hustle is. But it's like, real hard work is not done in the spotlight. It's done, you know, after hours. It's done, and it's tough, man. Like, persistence is tough. And, you know, again, the amount of people I work with that say, like, when I finish a day of work, I go home and collapse on the couch for the evening. It's like, you go out and you do this, and I'm like, I can't imagine my life not being this, you know. Like, and am I tired? Yeah. Look at me. I'm tired. Like, I'm tired, man.
Tired. Yeah. Like, my head hurts right now. Like, my jaw is tense.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I love this, but it's fucking tiring.
Exactly. And I'm starving. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, but I wouldn't change it for the world, you know?
And I think it's because of that discomfort that I have, where there's this lingering feeling that if I haven't done that clip today, if I haven't booked a podcast, if there is that sort of shit, there's this fucking knot in my stomach that's like, it's not even a purpose bullshit thing. It's just like, you're not doing this, Deb.
Do you want to do this or not? Yeah.
Are you going to do this right or are you not?
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
That's it. It's like, give it your all. Now, a question that I wanted to ask you is that you're at a point in your career where, as you said, like you need help with admin, you need help with all of that.
Yeah.
But you also have a full-time job that you've been working towards for the past 10 years and you're actually happy.
Yeah.
You have a 9 to 5 that you're happy with, which is like a rare thing. And I'm at this stage too where I need more help, but I also can't pay the money because I've like worked so fucking hard, and I'm like not even like nothing close to fucking 6 figures or like 5 figures. It's coming in my like bank account in one go. That's basically it. That's what I'm trying to get onto. But anyways, I need the help, and I also know that a lot of success stories come from your back being against the wall where this is either going to work or it's not. And I'm not saying that I have comfort, but for now, I'm still choosing the financial comfort of having a steady income.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for my friend, isn't there? There's something about a paycheck coming in every month that removes a certain amount of stress from your life while adding a certain amount more, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And like you describe my job as a 9 to 5 there, for example. I wish it was 9 to 5, you know what I mean? It's like, it's, and you know, you're probably the same. It's not something that's easy or you can leave at the door when you walk out, or you know what I mean? Like it's never anything like that. But yeah, I think I'm with you, right? I'm trying not to be too harsh on myself right now, because I know there will be a tipping point one way or another, right? There will come a time where I have to make a decision, and I don't know when that time is, but I know it's getting closer, because everything in me and in my world is telling me that at the moment. You know, I can feel like I know I don't know when it's going to be. It might be a year from now, it might be 2 years from now, but it's still getting closer. And and you know what, I think being very practical about it and stuff like that, like you have to accept certain sacrifices it's just the nature of the world we live in, isn't it? Like this Western capitalist world. But you know, it will come a time where you have to make a decision. Do I like leave a full-time job to pursue this? That is scary.
It's petrifying.
But if you do it and it works,
that's what I want to do. That's what I want.
Imagine waking up every day and getting to do this.
Exactly. And that's what I want to work towards. I want to work towards in a way where when I wake up, all I'm concerned about is having the best conversation ever.
Yeah.
And like, I know that I'm getting there. I think I just forget that. I'm not saying like be grateful, Deb, I don't want to be hard on myself either. But sometimes I do forget that this stress is good because it means that we're getting closer.
Yeah.
And I do tend to forget that, you know?
Totally.
And it's so tough because like you do see people that literally go like, yeah, I had 0 subscribers and it was either that or homelessness and I made it, right? I don't have the balls, but I also think that is just like irresponsible of me, considering the sacrifices that I made in regards to my education and in regards to business, to just walk away from it in order to make something that we don't know is going to happen work.
Yeah.
Also, we live in Dublin. I think that's like an interesting thing that I think it is quite like an American narrative, but it is sort of weird where Dublin is becoming this space where if you're a creative, like you want to be slowly, you do want to be here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can move out to the surrounding counties, but the chances of those being pricier depending on where you go, that's number one. And you're not going to get the speed and the immediacy that Dublin can provide you.
Yes.
Let's meet up for a coffee. Let's do all of that.
Yeah, true. And like, I mean, for me on a very practical level, like I think if comedy was not in my life, I think during the pandemic, I would have probably moved I mean, like Mayo is very appealing to me. I've family down
it?
there. Yeah, I love Mayo.
Mayo.
Yeah. I've family down there. I've like Kerry also. I love Kerry. I was thinking West Cork, but then I was always in the back of my head where it was like, no, I started comedy in Cork and I love the Cork scene. Yeah, and it's amazing. But like being in Dublin just allows you to be that bit freer, right? You've got like a huge concentration of activity here, and then if I have to go to Galway and back, or Cork and back for, you know, a gig, I can still be in work the next morning, you know, and now I'll be tired, but I'll be in work the next morning. But yeah, so it's balancing that. And I'll say this to you, I like living near the city centre has changed my comedy career for the better, in terms of it allows me to do so much more and still be in bed by like 11, half 11, you know what I mean, and that kind of thing. So a lot to be said for that. So I'm also enjoying my life right now. I'm enjoying being able to go do things, or buy the things I want, or book the travel for a fringe festival, you know, whatever. So right now, everything fits my purpose. Am I tired? Yeah, I just have to be a bit smarter, because I burnt out at the end of last year. Like I was sick, man. Like I was sick in the way that it takes you about 4 weeks to like get over after you start feeling better. You know what I mean? And
it's caught up with me as well. Huh?
Of course it did. Of course it did.
With me. Hello, I am interrupting my own conversation by asking you if you wouldn't mind to just like it, subscribe, follow, comment, DM me. Don't send me any dick pics though. Hope you're enjoying the chat. On with it. I've been sober because I got alcohol poisoning.
Just to note, Karina, Debbie's partner, is also laughing right now. Deal with the
so bad.
I'm sorry, pal.
That's grand. It's my fault. Like,
yeah, I know. But it's still rough,
I got alcohol poisoning, so I've been sober.
I'd say you have
for a month and a bit.
And how's that going for you?
I actually like it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I've never been a big drinker, but then it's so strange where since starting the podcast, this is so fucking silly. Since starting the podcast and going to like social situations, sometimes I felt like a little bit of pressure to be the funny one and the cool one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't eating before because of the fact that I'm working
so busy,
from 7 a.m. till whatever time like I can leave the door, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't eating before, and then I'm 5 pints in and I'm drunk and I'm the entertainer. So I was feeling that pressure significantly. And then it ended up to a point where I did get alcohol poisoning, which it was hilarious, great night, but like not a nice morning or / afternoon day. But after that, like just going like, all right, I pushed myself a little bit too hard. Let me try the alcohol, like going off alcohol, not even for good. I don't know, but I tried dry January and that was really good. And then I'm like, I might give maybe the alcohol-free concept a go, or if I'm gonna drink, have it be the half pint, have it be the small vino bottles or champagne bottles and stuff.
Yeah,
because at least I got one thing off of my mind, and also weirdly enough, it has really helped me in choosing the correct social situations that have saved me more money.
Yeah.
And that's a key fucking thing. I'm not spending 70 euros.
Yeah, no, it's important.
Twice a month for
Absolutely,
nothing.
hugely important. And I think like, so I, in February of last year, stopped drinking altogether for a couple of months. And now my default is I don't drink. Now I remember a bottle of wine in June for my friend's birthday, and I was, that was something. And then I had a whiskey when I was in Edinburgh in August. And then I think, I got pissed on Stevens's night with my family. So like my default is I don't drink. But like what I do find now is that if I do fancy a drink, I only ever do it around like my family, my very close friends. I don't drink in pubs. I don't drink. So the reason I stopped drinking was because it was making me physically very ill. But the reason I've stayed off it broadly is because I realize, like, especially, if you deal with depression and stuff like that, it's sad juice. Like, and I really enjoy the mental clarity and the energy levels that I have as a result of not doing that. And I think, you know, just you're saying about like your podcast and that kind of thing, and that dream you're chasing. I'd never sit here and be like, oh, if you want to chase your dream, you got to give up drinking. Like, no, that's absolutely not what I'm saying. But like, I know for me, it helps me when I'm not because I'm in bars like 4 or 5 nights a week, right? Like doing
especially
gigs.
for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I get that.
it's so easy. It's too easy. But and that doesn't happen anymore. Like, I don't drink, and it is wonderful, and I love it now. I love going out with my friends. I find that I get much tireder much quicker. So like by like 12 o'clock I'm like, okay, I'm going home, you know, except for very rare occurrences. But taking the power back where not drinking is your default, where if you choose to have a drink, that's absolutely, you know, that's fine, that's no problem at all. But when you take that power back, there's so much that comes with it that I wasn't expecting, and I try not getting my high horse about it. You know, when my friends are like, oh, I'm going to give up the drink and whatever, and I'm like, I know you're not going to, like, you know, but like, it is actually very empowering to just be in total control of yourself in every social situation, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why, because honestly, I was not, like, alcohol wasn't a distraction for me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. It wasn't a problem. I never identified with it. Like, thankfully, the addictive personality that I have was never towards that.
Yes.
Which I know is a natural fucking privilege that my brother and I got, thankfully.
Okay.
The one issue that I had was always, when it came to drink, I then ended up really fucking competitive. If we're drinking, I'm going to be the drunkest.
Of course. Yeah.
That was the issue. It was like the all or nothing.
Yeah.
And it's weird because last year I wanted to prioritize, weirdly enough, like one of my like goals or resolutions was to be more social, to make more friends.
Okay.
And that's how like the podcast didn't start, but that's where the podcast really took off, where then I was like, you know what? This person looks like a cool person. Come on the podcast. And you just like make friends and make connections like that. So it was a success in terms of like the social aspect to it.
Yeah.
But then drink was reintroduced in my life again. So that's where I was just like, all right. So now I just need to be careful, because that's my issue. I'm not saying it's an issue, but I do tend to go in hermit mode.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes
Interesting.
sense. I'm a very like protective person in that regard.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'd rather not go out.
Yeah, I know.
Than go out.
You're preaching to the choir here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That resonates with me a lot as well. I am much happier at home these days, which I know is terrible. Like, I do love socializing. I love my friends, and I love seeing them, and I love like being around my family and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I'd much rather like have a tea and biscuits night, you know, while like 5 of us watch a film, you know, or whatever it might be, you know.
Especially when you're working till like 9-10 p.m. on your laptop all fucking day.
I'd say
it's like I'd rather just literally sit down and watch Netflix, because I'm relaxed.
What do you do to relax, Deb?
I sit down.
Yeah.
And I watch. You know what the fucking treat is?
What?
Falling asleep on the sofa, man.
Yes.
She's a nightmare.
She's the bonus round of this. I love it.
But
she gets so bitchy when I want to go upstairs to bed, and she doesn't want to get up, but I can't go to sleep then until she's upstairs.
Of course.
Obviously, that's my own issue, but she gets really thick at me then. And like, I'm some big meanie for trying to bring her up to bed.
Mate, come on. Don't be mean.
I honestly can't be arsed.
And then she calls me mean. The audacity. I'm like, I've been here for 10 minutes trying to get you.
You know what it is? Having a spiral staircase is lovely. Having a spiral staircase, like, I love having 2 floors. The one issue when you're fucking tired and your feet are up and you're getting snoozy, you just got takeaway and you have to go upstairs. No. What were you doing as a child? You were pretending to be fucking asleep so that your parents carry you up to bed.
Yeah, what's the story with that, Greenie? You're not carrying her up to bed?
I don't know, I need to hit the gym.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so something else that I want to talk to you about. Let's get fucking serious. We spoke about being non-binary. And I need to scooch up for this. So,
okay.
The way that we spoke about it and approached it was, I was talking about not even understanding it, because it came from a place of understanding, but I was going like, why is there such a massive shift in women doing it, and are they okay with just being butch? But it didn't come from like a bad place at all. Now, and we were discussing it, and it was a fucking lovely conversation. Where are you? So how did Bigfoot end?
What a question. Well done.
It's so difficult, right? Because what I love and what's a massive privilege about this podcast is that my thoughts get documented.
Yeah.
And it's lovely, and I'm not saying that I still stand by that, but I love that I have that curiosity.
Yeah.
And I own up to being honest.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
And I do think that, I hope anyways, that you were not honest, but I know that you were teasing the idea and playing with the idea at the time, but I'm hoping that you were honest in that regard, because we were just simping over butch women and bitch women. Where are you at now, Sinead?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with sharing it before?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I am. No, and thanks for asking. I appreciate it. No, so I have recently come out as non-binary, and I say that, and I still have to have the conversation with my parents, which is weighing on me at the moment. But what I will say to you is that the last time we spoke, I was in like a proper like headstorm at that point, you know what I mean? Like I was really not it, I suppose, yeah, and obviously like you said, like how does Bigfoot end? So I don't want to like quote from it, but I think there's a line in there that I have that says, it's like I looked under the hood and underneath there I found something that I kind of knew I was going to find when I lifted it, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is I wouldn't look this in the face for like so long, do you know what I mean? Like as in, because I was like, I'm not trans. I'm not trans. I was like, I don't want to be a guy. Like, I mean, I'm, you know, and I fought like pretty long and hard to like, I suppose, you know, I truly kick back at the idea that femininity is one, or, you know, one kind of flavor of woman or human being or whatever. And all that. And just because I didn't fit that definition necessarily, you know, didn't make me any less of a woman. And then these were all these logical arguments I had with myself. And then kind of when I sat back and talked about like, or thought about how I actually felt, I feel like I'm not a man, but I don't identify as a woman. Like that thing doesn't connect with me when I think of who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I don't feel like it fully represents who I am. So when I try to sit down and talk to like a friend about it, I find it very hard to put words on it, which is weird, right? Because that's what I do for a living. I put words on things, you know, both in my comedy career and in my professional career. I work in communications. So, you know, for me to not be able to put words on something is really remarkable, I suppose. But I said, you know, I see the gender binary, and I identify with both of them and none of them at the same time, which is like a bit of a headstorm, right? Like and that kind of thing. But I am very much like, this is very much, I'm still on like a journey and I'm loving the journey, you know what I mean? I'm so happy and I'm so comfortable in who I am. I'm so much surer of it. And I suppose I wasn't actually expecting to talk about this, so you're gonna have to just bear with me as I kind of like fumble my way through my thoughts. But yeah, I think where I'm at with that, with non-binary, being non-binary or identifying as non-binary is exactly that, where like it's both of them and none of them, and it's a scale of, it's a fluid notion. And I find gender as a whole very performative, and like as a construct in society I do think it is very performative, and we apply expectations on people based off this like really weird thing, you know, and all that. And I just, yeah, I don't think that it doesn't do it for me anymore, you know what I mean? Like I don't identify, I'm not a man, but I'm not a woman either, you know what I mean? I'm just like, it sounds stupid, right? But I'm just a Sinead, you know, like, and it's funny because I've plenty of cis het friends, and I've said it was James, and he was like, it was like the moment you said that was when it made sense to me, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's it's the person in front of me. It's not, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to quantify when like we're not in a social circle and you see me interacting with like the people I love and who I truly am and all that kind of stuff. And it was the most I feel the most at peace with myself that I ever have, because I realized that I was screaming at myself for years for not being a good woman. You know what I mean? You don't wear the clothes. You never, you know, when you walk into a shop, you go straight to the men's section and all that kind of stuff. And that's all fine. You know, like that doesn't make a man or a woman. But I think the peace I found when I allowed myself the space to, you know, maybe identify as non-binary, I was like, it was like, yeah,
I see.
yeah, and I'm talking on a very deep level. I'm not giving you anything tangible to hook on to here. But what I will say is to your point about like being butch and not being comfortable with being butch, and is that why people are moving more towards the thing? Like I guess, you know, I hear you. It's an interesting thought.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and it's a topic I think, you know, that has been like talked about and explored an awful lot. I don't know. I was never uncomfortable being butch or soft butch as it's a, like the, you know, it was never really about that. It was just more as it was on such a deep level, like a deep emotional level that it nearly feels spiritual. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why I find it so difficult to put words on, because it's not sexuality, right? It's not like, oh, this is the person I love.
Is it like an issue with femininity? Like, I'm not saying, I want to make sure that people don't think that I'm being an asshole towards you. Like,
no, you're not. I know you're not. Yeah.
Like, I've respected everything and I respect everything. It's more just like, I want to dissect it because it's such a, as you said, it's such a feeling that you can't, that a lot of people don't understand, right? And unfortunately, this non-understanding is then coming from, no, they're a he or a she. And rather than just like, no, let me hear them out. And that's why, that's what I'm trying to like get this out of. But anyways, is it potentially an issue with the inferiority of being a woman, like the way that society looks at women, that there is that discomfort in, where with the likes of butch women, right? That then feel not the likes of yourself, the likes of others, that feel safer identifying as non-binary because you're no longer in the box.
Yeah.
That pulls you down by identifying as a woman.
I'm not sure if it's, and look, everyone's different, so I can't speak to that. I'm not sure if it's about a box or being, you know, pulled down or
I'm loving this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too. It's, I don't, for me personally, it's not about that. It's that I feel that I don't want to be tied to the performative aspects of the things that I am meant to perform by being a woman, or the expectations that I am meant to hit by being a woman. It's not. I'm gonna
stop you there. What do you mean by performative, or feeling like you need to perform in gender? I love that.
Yeah.
Like, could you give examples for that?
Yeah. So like, I think, okay, so I'll give you an example. I walk into the women's bathroom and very frequently I'll be told, hey, this is the women's bathroom.
Okay.
And I always want to turn around and be like,
see my tits.
Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, at a very like base level, I'm like, whatever. Yeah. But there's a bit, I actually have a bit about that. But I really want to turn around and be like, just so we're clear here, what is it that makes you think that I don't belong in here? You know what I mean? Like, what exactly, what boxes am I not ticking for you to qualify me taking a piss in this bathroom? You know what I mean? And now the public toilets, like public toilets are my own personal hell. Like I hate them so much, and I always need to pee. Like I say, either my jeans are skinny or I'm anxious, or you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like, and I always need to pee, and it's always so deeply uncomfortable. But like, you know, like that's it. It's, I'm berating myself because I don't wear, it's not just dresses. I don't wear like the same jumpers as you do because I don't feel comfortable in them. I think they look stupid on me, and I hate that. Like, like my parents have never been anything but good and accepting to me and stuff like that. But like I even remember when I was a kid, and I'm sure there's plenty of like people out there like AFAB and women, AFAB people and women who have gone through this, where your mad be putting you in clothes, you know what I mean, that you didn't want to wear, and you'd be bawling wearing like a dress or whatever because you just feel so deeply uncomfortable and it's not me. And like I feel like a clown putting on like makeup for a, you know, like a show, or like, you know, this costume or whatever, and like I'm only doing it so everyone else is happy. And like there's another example I think of quite a lot where my mom said that, so me and my best friend when I was a kid, Owen, he grew up beside me, and we'd go out and I'd bring a buggy, and Owen had a like tractor with like a digger on the front of it, right? You could like drop the digger and stuff like that, and we'd go out and play together, and we were like 3, 4, 5, and we'd walk out to the end of the driveway and I'd hand him my buggy and I'd jump on his digger, and we'd be flying around like messing with each other's toys and that kind of thing. And my mom said to my granny at the time, and like this I don't resent anyone for it because it's totally the way it is and was certainly, and my mom was on the phone to my granny one day and she said she was like looking outside and watching me and like Owen play with each other's like thing, whatever, and I'm on the tractor, and she goes, you know what, Sinead loves that tractor, I think I might get one for her. And my granny said, no, don't. Someday you'll have a son and you can buy him a tractor. Do you know what I mean? What is that? What is that like? Do you know? And I don't hold it against her.
You don't hold it against her, but then that's where it is, and that's what I think is so lovely with our generation. And I'm excited to see the generation that we raise, where, you know how people say like raise boys and girls the same? I think a lot of people fear that, but I think the main concept is if your daughter wants to play with a tractor, let her play with a tractor, so that hopefully further down the line she doesn't have to go through the fucking issues and internal dilemmas that you went through. It's not an attack on the gender, because something that I find so interesting is, weirdly enough, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's daughter Shiloh, growing up, had the short hair and in suits, and they just let her be. They didn't label her as anything. That's Shiloh, you know? Yeah, she was born a girl, but like we don't know if she's trans. She's just Shiloh right now.
She's just vibing, right?
Fucking went through puberty and now she's wearing the dresses and
she's
all
hyper-feminine now.
Hyper-feminine. But that's because you let your child be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with, like, I understand that with me. I had this conversation earlier this week where it's like, I feel like growing up, even just going through puberty or something, it's like, hey, how nice, or like pointing out your body parts when you start puberty. I hated that discomfort and that hypersexualization of being a woman, but I know that that's not an issue with femininity. That is an issue that girls unfortunately have to face because they're viewed as the weaker sex. They're viewed as targets. And that's something that like I had going on, and I don't have any issue. I'm not questioning my gender, and I know the torment. I know people that are still going through the torment and how tough it fucking is to know, and how bad people want to like know whether it's this or that. But even just the struggle that some women have, mostly queer women, where it's like, I don't know if I want to wear a dress, but I don't know if I want to wear a dress because I'm scared of people making fun of me because, oh my God, Deb, I've never seen you wear a dress.
That's a whole thing as well, isn't it?
You know?
Yeah.
Or am I more comfortable in this? I don't know. I'm 25 and I still don't know. And it's weird and I can't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's because I don't want, as if I'm fucking calling myself gorgeous, but I don't want to be seen as attractive to men. So there's a part of me that's also just like, I really like want to steer away from that. Right? But like there's a lot of weird caveats that women have to go through when identifying as a woman. Does that make sense? So that's why I think like the butch concept came up like last time in our conversation. Because I'm like, is it because they're struggling with identifying as female because it's just easier not easier, but does it just take the weight off your shoulders of like, this is how I'm gonna be? Like, don't call me a woman.
This
It's easier
expectation.
for me to not deal with femininity and what that means for like fucking
Yeah.
hell. We're literally still being called property, and people are still arguing that that's what we are.
I know.
So
I appreciate what you're saying, and I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
like I hear what you're saying, and I think it is a very interesting
Yeah.
concept, and one that like
I think it's just like ebbs and flows, you know?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely, and I like all I can do is like talk about myself and my
Personal
experience, and like
experience, yes,
100%, and like I think, you know, like I said, throughout my life, my entire life, I used to berate myself for like being a bit more masculine than my friends that were girls, or the people I went to school with, and all that kind of stuff. And like but like it becomes a thing, a little voice in your head that just repeats like a negative thing over and over and over and over and over again until like you don't even notice it, you just accept it, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not like, I'm a bad girl, I'm a bad lesbian, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like meeting these expectations.
Shit.
Like and that kind of thing. And then for so long, like as long as I was conscious of it, I knew I was bad at it. And then at some point, maybe 2 years ago, I think I had a kind of like conversation with myself where I was like, it's okay. Like, it's okay that you never shop in the women's section. It's okay that you go straight to the men's. It's okay that you feel better in like guys' clothing, or, you know, and things like that. It's okay that you don't want to wear shorter tops, or, you know, like, or a dress or a skirt. Like, that's okay. And as soon as I let myself accept that part of me and like start like being open to that energy, then the femininity, which has always been there in me and that kind of thing, the femininity also start popping as well, you know what I mean? So it's like it was nearly like that in itself almost proved to me like there is both in all of us, you know what I mean? Like it's the yin and the yang, the ebb and the flow, exactly what you said. And like I think that's where I'm at, I suppose, is I feel so comfortable in my skin. I used to think like, I'm not trans, I'm not non-binary, I like my body and that kind of thing. And yeah, I do like my body. I don't, you know, but like I thought to have like gender dysphoria was to like hate your body, and I like didn't, you know, and I never really did. I mean, you know, the usual where you're like, do I look like that naked from that angle? You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Or like you walk over to fix the fucking microphone and you see your ass in the camera, you're like, shit.
You're like, my ass don't jiggle, you know, whatever. But like, you know, so like apart from obviously that, like I'm very fortunate that I didn't grow up like hating my body through puberty or anything like that, you know. But I realized then that gender dysphoria is actually so much bigger than that, because like I actually know what gender euphoria feels like, you know what I mean? And I walked into a chemist the other day, and I was wearing my parents got me Santa got me a Felix the Cat jacket for Christmas, and this thing is badass. So Felix the Cat is a cartoon character or whatever, and it's like a denim jacket and it's got a patch on it, whatever. And I walked into the chemist, and this woman walked over to me, and she was like a bit younger than me, and she was like, "Are you okay? You look overwhelmed." And I was like, "I think I just always look overwhelmed." And we were joking, and I have it's skin thing on my wrist or whatever, it was like an allergic reaction basically, and I was like, help me. And anyway, so we got talking, and she was like super nice and sorted me out whatever I needed. And at the end I was like, thank you so much, by the way. I was like, this has really been giving me like a lot of hassle for the last few months, so like thank you. And she was like, not at all. She was like, I looked at you and I thought, this person is going to make my day, they're going to make my day. And you know what, you did. And it was just that moment of like, oh, thanks. You know, like it was just like the pronoun thing, like when she used like they, and I was like, huh. Or like I got introduced for the first, like, so I had a gig in Hysteria in Sinead last Friday, and that was the first time I turned around to the house and I was like, hey, I use they them pronouns now, I hope that's okay, you know, whatever, you know.
How has that been like socially transitioning to they them pronouns? Yeah,
it's I'm still like, you know, people say, what are your pronouns? Like my preferred ones are they them, but like if I, you know, she they is fine too. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not totally.
How does she they work?
It's just an interchangeable one, I guess. Like I'm not, you know, it's not like it's in transition phase, you know what I mean? Like it's all pretty new to me and stuff. But like the one thing I will say is, like I said, I'm probably gonna have to talk to my parents before this podcast comes out, to be honest.
Listen. This will go out once you're done, like once you're okay. Like,
yeah, that's what I have to tell them anyway, because I think they're coming to my work in progress show. But
okay, yeah. Then that's then that's like a you thing. But like from a friend perspective,
thank you. I appreciate you.
If this bit needs to be cut until then, like
no, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you so
Anyways,
much. You're so sweet. Thank you. But yeah, so what was I saying? So she they, yeah, so people using she they for me has been, obviously, you know, up until, you know, for 30 odd years of my life, you know what I mean, has been a thing. So it's not like I'm all of a sudden going to be like, please no. But what I will say to you is, I was home for Christmas, and my mum and dad obviously haven't told them, and my brother and sister, I haven't really told them either. I kind of put it up on Instagram, like changed my pronouns on Instagram, and kind of hoped that they would like see it eventually, but I don't think that's happened. But anyway, and I was home for 2 weeks, and it was the first time that, like, when people use she, her consistently throughout, it felt like it didn't fit anymore. It felt like I had taken a jumper out of the dryer, and it was all of a sudden a little bit too tight in me, and I didn't like it. Like, I didn't.
So is it like the consistent, like she, her?
Yeah, it was the, like, you know what I mean? And it was just like, I was like, it feels like a jumper that doesn't fit me now. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an uncomfortable, scratchy feeling, you know? And I can't talk about like gender dysphoria without talking about the euphoria. You know what I mean? It's just,
could you explain that to me?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a person I work with in work who came out as non-binary, like in their 40s, and they're amazing. They've been like, I can't even. They just knew. So they asked me to go for dinner in July, and I was like in the height of it. So like I told you, like that was back in May we talked, and like by July I was pretty like really up in my head about things and stuff, and I didn't know how to talk about it. And that person in work was like, hey, I'm home. They travel a lot, so they were like, oh, I'm home, will we go for sushi? And we did, and we went to the sushi restaurant, ordered, and they were like, so what's going on with you? And like, I had never really gone on a social occasion with this person. Like, it's not like we're overly close, or weren't anyway at the time. And I just burst into tears, and I was like, oh man, I was like, how did you do this? This is fucking hard. And they were like, what are you afraid of right now? And I was like, I'd like a million different things, but like one of the things was like, I don't want to not be a daughter or a niece or a granddaughter, or, you know what I mean, or a sister. I was like, I'm still all those things, like, but I'm freaking out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want, like, when I sit down with my family, I don't want to be like, I'm not these things anymore. Like, I still am. This is who I always have been. You know what I mean? This isn't new. Yeah. This is actually just me vocalizing and being like, hey, I'm actually, this is the little bit of space in the world I'm going to take up now. And, you know, and yeah, the work pal was like, you are still all those things, and like that doesn't change unless you want it to change, obviously, but you know, and like they still love you, they're gonna love you, you know, and all that kind of thing. So it's weird, right? Because I suppose last time we were on the podcast we were talking a lot about queerness and coming out as a lesbian or whatever and all that stuff, and I don't know why I'm so nervous about that conversation with my parents and my family, but
it's such hard work. And it's also like, I think a lot of people forget that coming out means that you're gonna have to come out every day, and that is something that I'm still not okay with, you know.
Yeah,
I don't, and there's a part of it because I'm not an oversharer in general. I don't like talking about my personal life, especially to strangers. There's another thing is that I don't like to talk about it because I know that doesn't make me me. If I had a boyfriend, it's like, oh, you have a boyfriend? What's his name? Over. Done with.
End of story.
End of story. Oh, you're gay. When did you come out? How did your parents take it? How did this take it? Now, in fairness, there comes a time and a place. If we're going to have a chat about queerness, that comes with, that is part and parcel with it, as it would if we're talking about your career as an athlete.
Yeah.
So I understand that. But that is something that I just don't want to chat about, and I am the wrong person to also educate people on.
Absolutely. But like, because it's so deeply, intensely personal. Like,
and also there's something called internalized homophobia. That
we spoke about this,
still haven't, I'm not saying that I still haven't gotten over, but there's still a part of me that is very much like, I don't want to be known as the gay one.
I know.
I don't know if because I think that there's something wrong with that. I don't think so, because I happily live and I'm in a relationship for nearly 4 years.
You don't
now.
want to be tokenized. You know what I mean?
No,
It's not a nice
exactly. Like I don't want questions and all that. But there's a part of me that's still just like not weird about it, but it feels so normal to me now that I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. So I completely get you. And that's
now
kind of...
you're going to have to fucking go through this all over again. That's where I was going with. And that's why it's so fucking scary for you. Yeah. I can imagine. I'm talking on
doing
your
it as an
behalf
adult.
now.
Yeah.
Doing it as an adult, but having to explain this, which is significantly tougher than I want to sleep with women.
Yeah. But that's what I was saying earlier, right? Like when it's about sexuality, you nearly have like a person that you can point to and be like, I love that person. You know what I mean?
Well, I love that person. Like the easiest example that I used to have growing up was, do you want to hold this person's hand out like in public?
Yeah.
No. That's the same with me with dudes. I don't want to hold their hand.
Yeah. And that's totally, really, you have something tangible to point at and go, this is the difference between me and my sibling that I, whatever. And but then with the gender identity thing, because it's like so intangible nearly, you know what I mean? You don't have the person you can point to and be like, that's the person I love. Like it's all about you, and that is so
how I love myself.
Exactly. And that is why when it comes to like the vulnerability of it and talking about it and stuff like that, I think that's why I'm finding it so much tougher. I'll give you another example. Like I'm seeing someone at the moment, going super well, super happy, went up to where she's from to meet her friends. Her friends were absolutely fucking lovely. Like I was getting on with all of them until one fella kicked off because thankfully she is like super used to the whole like non-binary concept and they them pronouns or whatever, and where like if someone doesn't use they them pronouns to me, I won't necessarily pull them on it, you know what I mean? Or maybe after a couple of times
maybe
I might be like
with the she they thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. Yeah. I'm still getting used to it,
I'm trying to like help people out here to understand like what she they means.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So then good on you doing the Lord's work.
Yeah,
but
Jesus
but like she doesn't give people that leeway, and I kind of love that, to be honest. It means a lot, I suppose. So anyway, I think what happened was he obviously used the wrong pronouns or whatever, and she like wasn't having it. But I've no idea what happened. We were all sitting at a long table in the smoking area. I was talking to someone who was sitting on my right, and the person I'm dating, she was sitting across the table from me talking to her friend, and I just knew something was wrong when I saw like the change in her like face or her body language, but I couldn't even really hear what was happening. And then I put together pretty quickly what was happening, and then she like took him and like stood away from the table, and they were obviously having an argument again. Like it wasn't loud or anything, but I could tell by her body language and stuff like that. And she made him leave the pub, and she's a badass, dude. She is. You can leave this bit in as well, right? Like, she is gold, man, gold. And she came back and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Are you okay?" And then in the fucking same breath, one of her housemates turned around, right, and he's from Sicily, and she said earlier to me, she was like, "Oh, he's a really cool guy, blah blah blah, whatever. He says the wrong thing. He doesn't really have filters, so like just be wary." And she was like, he hates when people call him Italian, right? Because Sicilians apparently, right? Yeah. So literally in the same breath, that just happened. Your man turns around, he has a few more drinks, and we've been getting on like great, like all night. And he turns around, he goes, "Sinead, I know you use they them pronouns, but I don't really believe in that." And I turned around and I was like, "That's all right, buddy." I was like, "You don't need to believe in it. It's the same way I believe Sicilian people are no different to Italian people." I was like,
Sinead,
I have no idea where this came from. It must have been like fester. I don't know, like what. It must have been sitting in the back of my head, but I just came out like straight away, and I was like, "That's okay, man. You don't need." I was like, "I believe Sicilians and Italians are all the same. I mean, you all use the one national flag, you all sing the same national anthem, and when Italy go and win the World Cup, yous are all buzzing." So I was like, so Sicilians and Italians, to me, culturally, all the same. And everyone was like, "Oh," you know what I mean? And I've but that was my first that night. Now it's funny, right? We can laugh about it. Yeah. And he was proper like, man, that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? And like the other guys at the table were like, that's what you get, man. That's what you get for fucking saying shit like that. And yeah, that was the first negative reaction that I had. Not him, not the Sicilian guy. That's fine. I can deal with that. That's no problem. But what she went through with her pal, and she was like, he was being an asshole and he was being horrible. And she was like, I don't really want to tell you what he said. And I was like, please don't tell me what he said, because I don't need to know. And it has rattled me, to be honest, because that was my first very, very innocent brush with, well, not innocent, sorry, it's the wrong word, but my first brush with something like that, like happening, you know what I mean? And it's scary, man.
It's very scary because you have to defend your identity now. You have to defend your feelings, and this is something where there's no proof.
Yeah. What am I meant to do?
As we said with the sexuality thing, you know, there's no girlfriend or boyfriend that you can prove, like, there you go, I am actually a lesbian. Yeah. Because I have a girlfriend and not a boyfriend. There isn't that like fucking proof there, and it's petrifying, and but also, as you said, freeing as well, because that is who you are, and that is what makes you you. And the fact that I think a lot of people forget that it's like that easy switch, that easy like weight that's lifted off your shoulders means that people get a higher quality Sinead in their life, or 100%. A higher quality son, daughter, cousin, whatever it may be. But that means that you just welcoming them, making their days slightly fucking easier, means that you're going to have a happier person to deal with.
100%. 100%.
And don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. I'm just out here living my life, man. You know,
like you're really
telling my jokes.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You're just telling your jokes, you know, you're identifying in whatever way makes you feel fucking more comfortable, so that then you can focus on what you're fucking there to do. Yeah. Which is say jokes at the end of the day, which is like be a good worker, girlfriend, boyfriend, every fucking thing. You're just there fucking being a good human. Trying to be, exactly. And like, yeah, exactly. Or other people as well. That's why like the you, oh my God. That shit pisses. No, it doesn't piss me off. I think what pisses me off is people thinking that people being rude for the sake of, because that is who I am, you know? And I feel like they go about it with like facts don't care about your feelings and all that, but you felt the need to say that. Yeah. And you said it. Yeah. So like the feelings the feelings are mutual. It's not like no one asked for your opinion. No one, like literally no one. And it kind of circles back to the start of our conversation, which is like, you don't need to be there. No, you don't need to be there. 100%. Like what about me being on this journey and coming out as non-binary has impacted your life? Oh yeah, exactly. You know, in nothing. Like Enoch Burke, for instance, like with the they them thing and the student. The lovely bit about this story. I'm taking a drink of water just so I can take a breath to calm down for a minute. But the lovely thing about this story, in my opinion, is that the student is not his. Not in class, you know, is in the school. And the issue that he has, he was fired on the grounds of being a fucking pest to the principal. Yeah. So, like, a lot of people are like, no, we need the likes of Enoch Burke. It's like, no, man. No. He is harassing his boss. Yeah. Like, of course you go harass your boss and expect not to be fired. Absolutely. Completely agree. Outside of the workplace. Yeah. That whole situation is crazy, it's but so silly. I think what it has done is really brought into focus the debate, for want of a better word. Oh, okay, tell me. And I think that it's infuriating to watch. Like, it really and truly is, because I'm like, at the end, exactly as you said, at the end of the day, he got fired for being like harassing his boss. But that poor student, I hope what's happening at the moment hasn't or doesn't damage them in a long-term way, because it's so needless. It's so needless. But what it has done is thrown the whole, not just trans debate, but like non-binary debate in particular, into the mainstream. Okay. And the whole pronoun thing and whatever. And you can have your feelings and whether you believe like
you know, whether it's you believe it's right or blah blah blah, but like facts are facts, and trans people exist and non-binary people exist, and you trying to impinge upon their right to exist is so dehumanizing, and when realistically it doesn't impact your life at all. You know what I mean?
I think the language debate comes into it because they, them is a plural pronoun. Is that the right word?
Well, I'll say this to you.
Say.
If me and you were walking up the street and we see someone's wallet on the ground,
Someone dropped their wallet.
Someone dropped their wallet.
Because we don't know who they are yet.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
And we'll bring it to the Garda station because they might go there to look for it. You know what I mean? So like,
I see.
it's not. I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm not trying to like jump down your throat or anything. You know, but yeah, like I've had a couple of friends who said that, you know, oh, it's just a bit difficult because we use it every day.
And for me, it wasn't like the concept of the excuse. It's like it's super good that you're talking about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Would you think though, like if the language concept were to come into it, where like, I know that there have been people trying to introduce new pronouns.
Neo-pronouns.
Neo-pronouns, exactly. However, unfortunately, people just then take the piss out of them or intimidate them to like stop talking about it, which is really shit. Do you think that would be a somewhat solution to shut the language debate up, or no?
What do I think neo-pronouns are a solution to?
If the English language were to decide on we've got he him, we've got she her, we've got they them for plural, and those that identify as non-binary go by this.
Yeah.
I remember back home there was a point in time where they had introduced, I believe Zer it was, X.
Yes.
And something else.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that do you think that is a viable solution or no?
I don't know, because I know in like Spanish as well they're kind of and then I actually only learned recently in French they have they, you know, because they use like il, L and blah blah, and what gets more confusing with those kind of languages is that they attach it to the table, the chair, whatever, you know. So that makes everything more difficult. But yeah, there are like new phrases or new words that are being introduced and that kind of thing. I don't think there's necessarily a need for a brand new thing, but I think maybe it would, but like, you see, at the same time, and again it kind of brings us back to the beginning of the podcast, at the same time, no matter what you do, the people that have an issue with it will always still gonna have an issue, because it's not the language that they have an issue with, it's the you know what I mean, it's the concept and the like
people. they're hiding that homophobia behind the language debate, as they do with the refugee thing. And I fucking
that was mind blowing, wasn't it? Hey, I tell you what, right? I was on stage. Sorry to diverge. I'm just going to diverge for 2 seconds. We'll come back. But that full circle notion. I was on stage in Faversham. I didn't even realize that I had made the show go as a perfect circle. I opened it with like a gag about, well, I was obviously taking the piss out of English politics at the time because Liz Truss had just resigned, so it was beautiful. And but I know, man, she really got it hard, honestly, didn't she?
I fucking hate the fact that like it's always the women. But it's because they pick the wrong ones.
I mean, it's a poison chalice job, but anyway, we'll get into that another time. But yeah, I opened the show with a gag about my name, and you know how it's kind of difficult for like people who aren't Irish to kind of really get their heads around blah blah blah. And I'm not going to do the joke obviously, but I have that. And then as it came around and as I went through the like serious stuff and about gender identity and my name, and my name is Sinead, and yeah, it's a typical. I talk about a story about a woman who bullied me when we were in primary school, and she, like, it was because of her I learned like what the word like meant and queer meant and all that. You can bleep that out, please. But I
called someone dad at a football game of my brother actually, and I didn't know. I got slapped in the head.
I did that recently as well, but I'll tell you about it some other time.
Talk about full circle.
So anyway, I got to the full circle, and so year one in primary school was like, at one point we were on a tour one day. We were going on the school tour, and we were all sitting on the bus, and she was sitting like in the row in front of me, and I was like, fuck, please. Like, I was hoping she didn't know I was there. And we were on the bus, we're in the middle of the road, like the fucking motorway or whatever, and she stands up and she looks at me and she was like, Sinead, that's funny, isn't it? And I was like, what's so funny? And, the whole bus goes quiet. And she's like, I always thought it was a girl's name. And, like then she said that to me, like when I was a kid, and I was like, fuck you, man. Like, that's actually pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
And like, it is, right? It is. But yeah, and I told that story, and then I got to the point at the end of the show where I was like, yeah, it is typically a woman's name, but having it doesn't necessarily mean that I am a woman and whatever. And it was in the middle of like saying all this and being emotional. I was like, show was full circle. I didn't even mean to write it like that.
And that's when that's when I know that I had a good conversation, when it like goes full circle. Every fucking
baby.
time.
Yeah.
As with your fucking hour. Oh my God. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Spilled all the fucking beans.
All the fucking beans.
You said that you owe someone something and you want to end the show in a specific way. So before that, I'm going to say thank you everyone for watching / listening.
Thank you.
Sinead, give it away.
Okay. Hang on. Tell me when to go, Karina.
Go.
Tonight on Why Mammy Drinks. Yeah,
Good job. Good job. I fucking love that. I really hope you enjoyed my chat with Sinead. I fucking love the ever living shit out of them. Sinead, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Sinead's friends and family, if you're watching this, could you let me know what you think? Maybe pop me a wee like, wee follow, a comment. Tell me that my jokes are shit. Anyways, have a good one. Bye bye.